Hello, in this video I am going to provide the solution to the question that is seen at this time. You may pause the video and make note of the question if you deem it necessary. Alright? Because throughout the working you may not see the question again. So here we go. We have F, G, and H, and we want to complete parts A, B, and C. So we are going to work on our part A first. A part 1. We want to use F of 3. We want to use F to find, when we substitute -3, what we will get. So we do not know. So we take the function f of x, and it says f of x is equal to, good. So what we basically do is, where we see the letter x in this entire function, we replace x with -3. Once we replace, we then simplify. Once we simplify, that's our answer. Good. So we replace -3. -3 by -3 gives +9. We know that 9 plus 1 is 10. Now, we need GF of -3. So, F is going into G. So my part 2, let's say GF of -3. So function F goes into function G. F says x squared plus 1. Our G is 2 minus x. Good. So we are going to place F into G, where we see x. So G f of x now, F goes here, so it will be 2 minus, open parentheses, x squared plus 1. So we'll have 2 minus x squared minus 1. This will give us minus x squared. 2 minus 1 is 1. Good. So the one to the right goes into the one to the left, where we see x. So that's my GF of -3. Negative x squared plus 1. I'm finished with A. Part B asks me to calculate the value of x, for which h of x is equal to 5. H of x is equal to 5. Now I'm going to have an equation. H of x says x plus 3 divided by 2. So we write the value that is given for h of x. That's my h of x. We want to make this equal to 5. So we write x plus 3 over 2 is equal to 5. And we solve it as a fractional linear equation. Good? So my method that I am going to use is to get rid of the fraction. So I'm going to make this side a fraction. And I'll quickly cross multiply. Numerator multiply by denominator. This is not going to change because I'm multiplying it by 1. And 2 times 5 is going to give me 10. Then I simplify. X is equal to 10 minus 3. X is 7. So h of x, so when h of x equal to 5, once we simplify, we'll get 7. And my last part is part C. I want to find fg of x. Fg of x. So I need to use two functions. I'm going to use f and g. This means that g now is going into f. G is going into f. Let me write it here so I can see it. F is x squared plus 1. G of x is 2 minus x. Good. So whatever we see for g, we write it in f where we see x. So where this x appears, I am not going to write g of x. I am going to write 2 minus x where I see. So let me substitute now. So g this is my g. I want to square it, and then I want to add 1. Remember, the right goes into the left. G is going into f. I am writing g where I see x. And x in the function f says x squared. So when I write this 2 minus x, I have to square it. And then we simplify. Remember, we can expand if we want to, but we don't have to. But if you have to expand it to see what you're working with, that's fine. So 2 minus x squared means 2 minus x twice. Okay, so I've written it in the expanded form here, and then we can use the FOIL method. Okay, 2 times 2, 2 times negative x times 2, negative x times negative x. And then we have our plus 1. And our last step here is to simplify it. We want to connect like terms. Let us look at our square terms first. There is only one square term, and that's our x squared. The x's, we have two pieces here. We have minus 2x, or we say negative 2x, negative 2x. Signs are alike, so we add, and our answer keep that sign. And then we have 4 plus 1. Yay! All right. Now there is one more part to do. This part asks us to find the inverse of the function h. So we take h of x. H of x is... Good. Now there's some steps that are involved in this case, right? The first thing is to replace h with y, or persons will say make y the subject. So we replace h with y. Good. Our next step is to we are going to interchange x and y. We will interchange x and y, meaning where we see x, we will write y. Where we see y, we write x. Good. So my subject will now become x. My x over here is going to become y. And I rewrite the other parts. And the last part that we have to do to complete the inverse of h is to make y the subject. You might say, wow, we are going back and forth. What nonsense is this? But these are some of the simple steps we follow to find the inverse of a function. Now I'm going to make y the subject, and I am using x is equal to y plus 3 over 2 To make y the subject, it means that I want y to be by itself on one of the sides. Good? So the first thing I'm going to do is to get rid of the fraction. So I make x a fraction and I'm going to cross multiply. X times 2. And 1 by this numerator will give me the exact same thing. And then I take positive 3 to join the 2x. Because I am taking it across the equal sign, it will become a negative. Now, I am not finished. Remember, this is just my working that leads me to my answer. Do not stop here, students. We want to write our answer as h inverse of x. Right? Remember, they had given us h of x. And they ask us to find the inverse. When we are finding inverse, we raise it to the -1. So h inverse of x will be my answer that I found here. I drop the y and I take the other side of the equation. 2x minus 3. I know it's a mouthful. I know it might seem confusing, but I tried my best to take my time. You have to pay attention, take your time, stay focused, right? If you still have questions, I am going to accommodate them and I'm going to provide you with additional examples. Now, this is just one of the many questions on this topic that we are going to go through. There are a number more of them, quite a few of them, and we are going to practice a few more. Yes, because practice leads to perfection. Thank you for watching.